as a first time founder, this is really important for you to know that there are really important agreements that you need to enter at different stages of your journey. Like few are at to be entered at the ideation stage. Then when you set up your company, at that time you have to create certain agreements. And when you are scaling at that time also, there are some agreements that are required to be created. So I'll quickly give you an overview about it. So at the ideation stage or idea stage, since you are individual or a solopreneur, in that case you need not to enter in any kind of a founder agreement with anyone because you don't have co-founders with you. But in case you are two or three members who are planning to start something of your own together, at the idea stage itself it is highly recommended to have some kind of a founder co-founder agreement with each other. Even if your business incorporation is not yet done, but have a co-founder agreement where it should be really clear that what are the expectations from each one of you, what will be the roles responsibility, how much profit sharing will be there. Okay, so all these things should be really clear from the very day one. Even if you have not yet started working, you are planning to start, but your role responsibility and your shareholding should be really clear, should be very clear between you, even if you are closest friends. Because as things move on, it should always be good to have a documented founders agreement, because later on we never know that what might happen. And if any important person goes out of your team in the initial phase, once you form the company, due to any clashes, then it will be not be a good thing for you, right? So this is first thing. And second is NDA is like a non-disclosure agreement. So I have been telling this earlier also, like if there are any confidential information sharing that need to be shared with investors, with the service providers, with other partners. Okay, so you make sure that that information should not be shared outside the organization or outside the ecosystem in which you are working. Again, these two documents are really easy to draft. Take help of some professional and get them drafted and keep it with you for the record purpose. Okay. Then comes the formation stage. As I mentioned that during the incorporation, you need to create certain documentation. Like for the incorporation of business, you have to get the MOA, AOA drafted from the chartered accountant or company secretary. For officially starting a business, these are some prerequisites. You need to have a PAN number. Also, if GST is required, then you need to have a GST number. But who will be the authorized signatory for opening the current account of company? So such kind of board resolution, etc., has to be entered in the initial phase itself. Then comes the shareholder agreement. So shareholder agreement again is a really important document. So all agreements between the shareholders of the company should be properly documented. And in the shareholder agreement, there are many clauses: drag along, tag along, and who can, how, and when you can sell your share. Exit clauses are also there. Okay, so all these things, when you are getting it drafted, make sure that you have entire complete understanding about these agreements. Okay, as I mentioned earlier, whatever documentation is happening, whether for incorporation documents, for shareholders agreement, for intellectual property assignment agreement, all these things should be in your knowledge. Okay, if you're a CEO, as a founder, you should know all these aspects. Okay, and when I'm saying CEO, so it is equivalent to a COO, CMO, CTO. Okay, all are really important, but it is prime responsibility of a CEO to make sure that all things are in place. Okay, so this was about the incorporation stage. Then comes the growth stage. So as you are growing, you are getting more team members into your team. Okay, so for them you need to enter into proper employee agreements. There should be proper equity incentive plans. Okay, the customer agreement should also be there, because now you will be onboarding customers. So generally how it happens, it is not like you are sending agreement to a customer. It happens on your website nowadays. You agree on the terms, condition, policies with the customers on the website itself. And then comes the partnership agreements. So with partners like your service providers, vendors, okay, or your affiliates who help you in selling it to others, so these people also need to enter into an agreement with you, so that they don't violate any policies and they don't do anything which harm you as a company. Okay, so make sure that all these things are in place. And in scaling stage, you have to enter into agreement with the investors. You have to enter in agreements with the supplier vendors. Okay, distribution and franchise agreements also required if in case you are expanding through a franchise distribution network. Okay, and I think these things I have discussed with you in the previous video, but I just wanted to reiterate, because these legal documentation work are really important for you from the day one itself. Don't take it lightly. Okay. Reason of having a specific video for this section is that you should ensure that you're not losing on any of the aspects. Okay. Because if we are vulnerable on any of the aspects, it will be really challenging for us. Okay. Then come the mature stage. So during the merger acquisition agreements or your joint venture agreements, or even if you are getting acquired by any other company, so you have to plan and you have to document everything. So all these stages, whether ideation stage, then comes the incorporation stage, then comes the growth stage, then comes scaling stage or maturity phase or phase, all these things should be properly documented by you. It will help you only as a founder. Okay. As a founding team, as a founder, it will really help you. Then share purchase agreement or dissolution agreement also need to be created at the time when you are exiting the company. So a proper contract of selling your shares in the company, whether to other founders or investors or through IPO. Okay, so all these agreements also need to be there. See, all these documentation, agreement, etc., you can outsource to a team of lawyers, corporate lawyers who are expert in this, and it is not very difficult to have such. That's all about this section. Hope you have some clarity on this. As far as the detailed formats or other aspects are concerned, I'll try to add that in the below section. But don't go with any formats as it is, because in every scenario, every situation, different formats or different type of content will be applicable. That's why you need lawyers. You cannot create agreements, all agreements on your own. Okay, so here it is. Like, I'm just concluding this legal documentation part, which is really important for you as a founder. Hope you will take a note of this and get all these things documented and done properly at different stages of your startup. Thank you.